The California sun was setting over the Thompson residence, casting long shadows across their manicured lawn. On the surface, this was the American dream, a 4-bedroom colonial in an upscale San Diego neighborhood, 2 luxury cars in the driveway, 3 healthy children playing in the backyard. Derek and Leah Thompson had built what appeared to be the perfect life together over 12 years of marriage. But perfection is often just a carefully constructed illusion. Leah Thompson, 34, pediatric nurse at Mercy General Hospital, devoted mother of 3. Derek Thompson, 36, rising star at Coastal Financial Partners, Little League coach, church volunteer. To their friends and neighbors, they were the golden couple, high school sweethearts who made it work against all odds. But golden things can tarnish, and some secrets refuse to stay buried. This story isn't about a failed marriage. It's about how far one man was willing to go to protect his double life. It's about betrayal that turned deadly. And it's about the moment Leah Thompson realized a man she'd built her life with was capable of something unimaginable. The Thompson family calendar told one story. Soccer practice on Tuesdays, church every Sunday, date night every Friday. The kind of organized, predictable life that makes neighbors nod in approval. But behind those color-coded entries, another story was unfolding, one Leah wouldn't discover until it was too late. Derek and Terrence Mitchell's friendship went back 15 years to their freshman year at UCLA. They'd been roommates, frat brothers, and eventually best man at each other's weddings. What no one knew, what Leah couldn't have imagined, was that their relationship had crossed lines no one suspected. The first cracks appeared subtly. Derek started working later. Business trips became more frequent. When he was home, his phone was always face down, always on silent. Leah chalked it up to stress, the new promotion, the kids' activities, the mortgage on their expanded home. She was too busy juggling night shifts at the hospital to see what was right in front of her. Then came the night of November 7th. Leah's 3 a.m. shift ended early when her replacement showed up unexpectedly. She decided to surprise Derek, stopping at the 24-hour diner to pick up his favorite pecan pie. The house was dark when she arrived, except for the flickering blue light from their bedroom TV. She climbed the stairs quietly, smiling at the thought of waking him with breakfast in bed. The bedroom door was slightly ajar. The sounds she heard weren't from the television. The pie box hit the floor with a soft thud as Leah's brain struggled to process what she was seeing. Derek, Terrence, the way they moved together. This wasn't some drunken mistake. This was practice. Familiar. Leah didn't make a sound. She backed away slowly, her nurse's training kicking in, assessed the situation. Don't escalate. Remove yourself from danger. She drove to her sister Megan's house in a daze. The image burned into her mind. When Megan opened the door, all Leah could say was, "I need a lawyer." By sunrise, Leah had secured the best divorce attorney in San Diego. By noon, Derek was served with papers at work. His reaction wasn't what anyone expected. No pleading, no remorse, just cold, calculated rage. As Leah would later tell police, "That's when I realized I never really knew him at all." The private investigator Leah hired was a former Marine named Victor Cruz. He worked quickly, uncovering a trail of deception that stretched back nearly 2 years. Hotel receipts from business trips Derek never took. ATM withdrawals in cities he supposedly never visited. And then there were the texts, hundreds of them, between Derek and Terrence. Some were innocent enough. Dinner plans, gym schedules. But others left no room for interpretation. Leah sat in Victor's office, staring at printouts of messages that described acts so intimate, so specific, they could only come from experience. The dates lined up with their anniversary weekend, with her birthday, with the night they conceived their youngest. Victor handed her one last file. Security footage from the Hilton near Derek's office. Time-stamped 1:17 p.m. on a Tuesday, Derek's regular lunch with the guys. The video showed 2 men entering a room. 2 hours later, only one bothered to straighten his tie before leaving. Leah's hand shook as she dialed her attorney. "I want full custody. I want the house. And I want him to pay for every second of this." Derek's response came 3 days later. Leah was putting the kids to bed when her phone buzzed with an unknown number. The message was simple. You took everything from me. When she called the number, it was already disconnected. The next morning, Leah noticed the first sign something was wrong. Her car door was slightly ajar, though she distinctly remembered locking it. Nothing was stolen, nothing disturbed, just that faint feeling of violation. She reported it to police, but without evidence, there was little they could do. Then the phone calls started. Always at night, always from blocked numbers. Sometimes just heavy breathing. Sometimes words that made her blood run cold. You shouldn't have looked. You don't know who you're dealing with. He'll never let you take the kids. Leah installed security cameras the next day. What they captured would change everything. The first security footage showed nothing unusual, just the empty driveway, the quiet street. But Leah kept reviewing the tapes, convinced something was off. Then she saw it. Night after night, at precisely 2:17 a.m., a shadow moved across the edge of the frame. Too fast to identify, too deliberate to be an animal. She upgraded to motion-activated floodlights. The next night, the cameras captured a clearer image, a tall figure in dark clothing, face obscured by a hoodie, testing the back door handle. Leah froze the frame. The way the person stood, the shape of their shoulders, it looked like Terrence, but she couldn't be sure. Police ran the footage through their recognition software. No matches. Without an actual break-in, there was little they could do. Leah started sleeping with a baseball bat beside her bed. Then came the voicemails. Distorted, mechanical voices whispering threats. You're being watched. He'll never let you go. You should have kept quiet. Leah saved everyone, building her case. The final straw came on May 12th. Leah returned from grocery shopping to find her bedroom in disarray. Not ransacked, just subtly wrong. Her perfume bottles rearranged. The photo of her and Derek on their wedding day face down, and on her pillow a single black rose. This time, the police took her seriously. Detectives found partial fingerprints on the window frame, but they didn't match anyone in the system. Leah begged them to check against Terrence's prints, but without probable cause, they couldn't. That night, Leah made a decision. She sent the kids to stay with her parents for a fun weekend with Grandma. She knew she was being watched. She knew she was in danger. What she didn't know was how far Derek would go to protect his secret. June 14 started like any other day. Leah worked the morning shift at the hospital, came home to an empty house, and settled in with a book. At 9 p.m., her sister Megan called. I'm coming over. I don't like you being there alone. Leah protested, but Megan insisted. Just for tonight. I'll sleep on the couch. Neither woman knew this decision would save Leah's life. At 2:17 a.m., that same eerie time, the security system alarm blared to life. Motion detected at the back door. Then the sound of shattering glass. Megan grabbed Leah and shoved her into the closet. Call 911. Now! Leah crouched in the darkness, listening to the sounds of struggle. A crash. A scream. Then silence. When police arrived minutes later, they found Megan bleeding from a head wound, unconscious but alive. The intruder was gone. The crime scene told a disturbing story. The back door showed signs of forced entry. A kitchen knife from his own block was found on the floor, smeared with blood. And on the counter, Derek's wedding ring, placed deliberately in the center, gleaming under the forensic lights. Detectives pulled phone records. 11 calls between Derek and Terrence in the hours before the attack. All unanswered, all suspiciously timed. When questioned, Derek claimed he'd been at a hotel across town, alone. Security footage confirmed his car in the parking lot, but the timestamps didn't match his story. Terrence had no alibi at all, just a claim he'd been home sleeping. Then forensics delivered the bombshell. The blood on the knife wasn't Megan's. It was an unknown male's. And the partial prints from the earlier break-in, they matched Terrence perfectly. The DA wanted to move fast. But Leah knew something they didn't. The intruder that night had whispered 2 words of Megan before striking her. Wrong sister. This wasn't random. This wasn't a burglary. This was attempted murder. Derek's arrest played out like a scene from a crime drama. Police intercepted his BMW as he left the gym at 3:42 a.m., sweat still dripping from his workout. At first, he seemed confused, then angry, then something shifted, a cold calculation behind his eyes. The search of his vehicle turned up chilling evidence. A hunting knife wrapped in a bloodstained towel. A burner phone with just 2 contacts, both untraceable. And most damning of all, Leah's personal journal, filled with private thoughts about their marriage, her fears, her routines. In interrogation, Derek's story changed 3 times. First, he claimed the items weren't his. Then that Terrence must have planted them. Finally, he broke down sobbing about being set up. Detectives noted his hands, covered in fresh scratches that matched Megan's fingernail DNA. Meanwhile, Terrence was singing a different tune. Faced with the fingerprint evidence, he admitted to the earlier break-ins but insisted they were just scare tactics orchestrated by Derek. He claimed Derek had paid him $5,000 to intimidate Leah into dropping the divorce. But the attack? That wasn't part of the deal. Then came the recording. A voicemail Terrence had saved from Derek, clear as day. If she won't back off, we'll have to make her disappear. No body, no case. The DA had enough. Derek was charged with attempted murder, burglary, and stalking. Terrence took a plea deal for conspiracy. The case seemed closed. But Leah knew better. The blood on the knife wasn't Derek's or Terrence's. Someone else was involved. And the journal in Derek's trunk? She'd never kept one. 3 weeks after Derek's arrest, a hiker in the Cleveland National Forest found a purse wedged between some rocks. Inside, Leah's ID, a tube of her favorite lipstick, and a single handwritten note. If I can't have you, no one will. The handwriting analysis confirmed it was Derek's. Police launched a massive search, but found no other evidence. Until Terrence, facing his own sentencing, decided to talk. Really talk. The story he told was more twisted than anyone imagined. Derek hadn't just wanted to scare Leah. He planned to kill her and make it look like an accident. The journal was a fake, planted to suggest she was suicidal. The knife was meant to be found in the woods near her jumped body. But the most shocking revelation? The blood on the knife belonged to a third man, a homeless person Derek had paid to let them draw blood. Someone who wouldn't be missed. Someone who could take the fall if needed. With Terrence's testimony, Derek's fate was sealed. Life without parole. Terrence got 15 years for his role. The case made national headlines. But the real horror came later. When investigators searched Derek's office computer, they found searches for untraceable poisons and how to make murder look like heart failure. Dated 6 months before Leah even discovered the affair. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was premeditated, calculated, and it proved one terrifying truth. Derek Thompson had been planning to kill his wife long before she ever found out about his double life. This case forces us to ask uncomfortable questions. How many seemingly happy marriages hide deadly secrets? How well do we really know the people we love? Leah Thompson survived. Her children never had to grow up without their mother. But the scars remain, not just from that final night, but from the years of deception that came before. If this story makes you look twice at someone you thought you knew, good. Sometimes that second look is all that stands between life and death. If you found this story interesting, kindly subscribe, like and share for more crime stories.